All right, YouTubers, welcome back to Tom's Tiny Tractor, where it's not the size of your tractor, it's how you use it. In yesterday's video, we replaced the hydrostatic cooling fan underneath the bottom of this Kioti CS2520. That's a problem with many subcompact tractors, not just this one. But today, we are going to be putting on some Under Armour from broken Anvil that will hopefully stop that from happening again, because it wasn't fun. It wasn't too terribly hard. It was a little time consuming, but it's not something I want to do on a regular basis. So little armor underneath the tractor, keep those sticks from coming up under there and tearing up my HST fan. Sounds like a good thing. So why don't we get you in the garage and get this armor installed. Okay. Hopefully this will solve the issue. This is the filter guard installation guide. Broken Anvil. And definitely, I guess, do not want to skip that step right there. So we'll give this a good read before we start. That'll be off camera. Okay, so yeah, there it is. Let's see what else we got here. Hardware. Not only is it going to protect that HST fan, but it's also going to protect that low-hanging hydraulic filter. So this will cover up that hydraulic filter. So yeah, let me hop on reading these instructions and we'll be back to get this installed. Okay, so I have read the instructions pretty thoroughly, and I believe I understand them. I also had to go and charge the phone, so it's a good bit later. So the first thing that I want you to do is locate the mounting positions for the bolts. I have already located them. They're the same ones on each side of the frame. It says to hand tighten these in first. Don't use any type of impact wrench or anything, because the frame has been painted and there is paint inside of the holes there that gets up in the threads, and so they want you to hand tighten these or hand start them and then run them in out a little bit, so to make sure that you don't cross thread these while you're trying to hold up this thing and put it on. And once you have done that, then you can take the bolts back out. So yeah, I located it. I cleaned them out. I washed it out with WD-40 and some silicone and ran them in and out. So we'll take these out now. I already took the ones out on the other side. And then we will get this mounted up. I'm gonna cut the camera off a little bit while I'm crawling under the tractor. Okay, so we got the guard here. Let's see if we can get this on. So this part of the guard is gonna go up over this HST filter, slide back in here, and this front port is gonna be right here. So let's see if we can get this to fit. So like that. Now, let me see if we can get these bolts started while we're holding this up. Let's see. I think I got one started. This would probably be easier if you had an assistant who could start the bolt while you were holding it up. Those two look like they're on. I'm gonna slide out and see if I can start the ones from the other side. All right, we got one started on this side. We got one started on the other side. Let's see. The other one I'm gonna have to do by hand, the one that's further back. I think I'll maybe move you a little bit and see if you can see this over here. Let's see what you're looking at here. Okay, so you can see this bolt right here, and then one is kind of behind the tire. The other one, I'm going to have to tighten with a manual. Sorry. All right. Snap this up a little bit. Let's see. Oh no. Okay. Let's reposition you a little bit. I don't know if you can still see what I'm doing up in there or not, but I don't have room for that behind the tire. So, and I don't have a ratchet that is 1/2 inch. So just work with what we got. Okay, let's head around to the other side. Okay, we're back on the right side of the tractor. So we are going to take and put a little paint mark here. Just so we can see if those loosen up. Okay, so we got the main portion of the broken Anvil armor mounted, and you can see it's covering this portion right here pretty good, but it comes up here and covers the bottom of the fan here, and up this side, which if you're sitting on the tractor facing forward would be the right side here, that goes up pretty far right here. The only thing that I think could be better somehow is if they made a U-piece, U-shaped piece that maybe they could thread here, and you could put it in and wrap it around the top and maybe thread something over here, and then you would have coverage that went all the way around. I don't know if you need it, but just looking at it, it looks like there's still a slight possibility for something to come up over the top here and get to the top side of this fan. But I think most of the damage comes right down through here where it's protected. But in addition to the hydrostatic fan, you also have this hydraulic oil filter, which, except for the drawbar, is pretty much the lowest part on the tractor. So it could easily be hit by a rock or a stump or something and busted, and you could lose all your hydraulic fluid and be stuck, since, you know, the tractor does have a hydrostatic transmission. So I also got the protection for this filter, which mounts right here. So we're going to go ahead and install that right down here on the bottom of the transmission. There is a threaded spot right here, that this bolt can go in right there, and you have a spot on the back of here, right there. So let's get that up on there. Let's see if we can get that on there. All right, looks like we got that in there. Let's see if we can get one of these in here. And you want to leave these loose, because if you get it tight, it's hard to get them started. And I know this because I already did it and had to take it back off. So yeah, there is that. All right, I got two started. Come on, give me a third. And this one looks like it's gonna be both. It feels like it's cross-threading. It's no good. Dang it, it's stuck. Just barely got that on there. Is that stuck? Let's loosen this. Let's loosen this up a little bit. I think that did it. We shall see. So there you have it. You got your HST fan protection. You got your hydraulic filter protection. The other hydraulic filter mounts right here, so it's back this way, facing this way. So everything under here is protected. And if you're going to be driving your tiny tractor into the deep bush, yeah, you want to make sure it's wearing protection. You don't want to encounter something unforeseen and be dripping some fluids and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap it up from under here. Alrighty, putting on that Under Armour was not near as much trouble as replacing that hydrostatic fan. It was actually 8 bolts to get that armor kit underneath there. So if you're interested in the broken Anvil Under Armour kit for the Kioti. I'll leave a link down in the description below. But one thing you need to make certain of is that when you're ordering your armor kit, there's two different armor kits. One for tractors that have the backhoe subframe there, and one for tractors that don't. So make sure that you're ordering the right one. Now, if you saw on the thumbnail for this video, like a tractor in front of some giant legs, those giant legs are actually a real thing here in Henderson. It's some kind of roadside attraction that a guy named Ricky Pierce built as a tribute to Marilyn Monroe. So yeah, I couldn't help myself. I had to use them. But yeah, they're actually that big, and I guess people drive by to see them. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me here on Tom's Tiny Tractor, where it's not the size of your tractor, it's how you use it. We'll catch you next time.